What if right now there's a man who wants you, but he's waiting for you to notice? Most women assume that if a man is interested, he'll just say it, that he'll chase, that he'll make it obvious. But what if that assumption is the very reason so many women walk away from something real without even knowing it? Men don't always confess attraction the way you expect. Some hold back because they're unsure if you feel the same. Some hesitate because they don't want to risk rejection. Some hide their feelings because they think you're too good for them. But here's the thing, their actions will always betray them. Because no matter how much he tries to hide it, a man who's secretly into you can't help but leave clues. He lingers when he could leave. He watches when he thinks you're not looking. He remembers things you don't even recall telling him. And if you miss these signals, if you assume silence means indifference, you might be walking away from a man who's already fallen for you. So today, I'm going to show you 7 hidden signals that he's secretly into you. The ones most women overlook. The ones that separate just a friend from the one who can't stop thinking about you. And once you recognize them, you'll never question a man's interest again. Let's start with the first sign, one that's so subtle, yet so powerful, most women never see it coming. The first sign he's into you. He finds reasons to be near you, even when he doesn't have to. Most women assume if a man is interested, he'll say it outright. But men, they reveal attraction through movement before words. A man who secretly wants you will place himself in your space, even when he doesn't have to. He doesn't just sit anywhere, he sits near you, even when there are open seats elsewhere. He doesn't just stand at a distance, he positions himself close enough to feel your presence. He doesn't just walk past you, he slows down, he lingers, he hovers just a little longer than necessary. And here's what most women miss. It's unconscious. He's not even aware he's doing it because his body is revealing what his mind won't admit. Why this matters. Men are territorial by nature. When they feel drawn to a woman, they instinctively move closer. They crave proximity. They want to be in your energy, even if it's just standing nearby. This is why when a man is indifferent, he keeps his distance. He stays neutral, doesn't gravitate toward you, doesn't find excuses to be in your space. But a man who's secretly into you? He'll orbit around you, whether he realizes it or not. How to test this? Next time you're in a room with him. 1. Take a small step back. Does he close the gap? 2. Lean slightly away. Does he unconsciously lean toward you? 3. Observe his body position. Is he angled toward you, even when he's not speaking to you? Because here's the truth. A man who likes you won't let too much distance come between you, physically or emotionally. And that's just the beginning. Because while his body tells one story, his eyes tell an even deeper one. Second sign. His eyes give him away, even when his words don't. A man can control his words. He can act cool, stay silent, play it safe. But his eyes? They'll always tell the truth. 3 ways his eyes reveal his feelings. 1. The secret stare. If you catch him staring when he thinks you're not looking, that's a huge giveaway. He's observing you, admiring you, letting his eyes linger longer than he should. 2. The eye contact test. If you lock eyes and he holds the gaze for a second too long, it's intentional. If he quickly looks away and then looks back, he's nervous because he knows he got caught. 3. His pupils give him away. Biologically, attraction causes pupils to dilate. If his eyes widen slightly when he looks at you, his body is reacting before his brain can stop it. Why this matters. Men don't always know how to express their feelings in words, but their eyes? They're windows to their emotions. A man who's just being polite will make normal eye contact. But a man who's into you? His gaze will linger, soften, hesitate. He's not just looking at you. He's trying to figure you out. He's wondering if you feel the same. He's holding back from saying what's already written all over his face. How to test this? 1. Look at him when he's not expecting it. Is he already looking at you? 2. Play with eye contact. Does he look away shyly, then look back? 3. Watch what he focuses on. Does he glance at your lips when you talk? If the answer is yes, congratulations. You've just uncovered one of the biggest giveaways of secret attraction. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Because if a man remembers things about you that even you don't recall saying, that's when you know you're more important to him than he's letting on. The hidden power of what he remembers. Some people listen just to respond. But a man who secretly likes you, he listens to remember. If a man is only interested in surface-level attraction, he won't retain much. But if he's truly drawn to you, your words stay with him. And that's where most women miss the biggest clue of all. He remembers your random childhood story from a conversation weeks ago. He brings up an inside joke you forgot you even made. He recalls how you take your coffee, what music you like, or the weird way you arrange your fries before eating. Why this matters. Men don't store information about women they don't care about. They don't subconsciously track little details unless you hold significance in their mind. A man who's indifferent, he forgets. A man who's secretly into you, he remembers. How to test this? 1. Bring up a detail you casually mentioned before. Does he recall it immediately? 2. Watch if he references something small you told him weeks ago. Did it stick with him? 3. Does he randomly bring up things about you in conversation, even when they weren't important to you? A man who secretly likes you pays attention without trying. And once you start noticing it, you'll realize just how much space you take up in his mind. And that's just the beginning. Because a man who remembers you doesn't just store details, he talks about you when you're not around. The way he talks about you to others, even when you're not around. Here's a truth that most women don't realize. A man who is secretly into you will not stay silent about you. Even if he hasn't admitted his feelings directly, he will slip up in the way he talks about you to others. Ever heard a mutual friend casually say, backhand index pointing right, "Oh, he mentioned you the other day." Backhand index pointing right, "Yeah, he was telling us about that funny thing you did." Backhand index pointing right, "He always brings you up. Are you guys a thing?" That's not random. That's attraction slipping through the cracks. What to look for? 1. He mentions you in casual conversations with his friends, even when you're not there. 2. He defends you in discussions, standing up for you even in small ways. 3. He lights up when people talk about you, showing interest even when he's pretending to be neutral. Why this matters. A man who doesn't care about you won't waste time talking about you. But a man who's secretly into you? You live in his mind rent-free. He might not confess his feelings directly, but his words will give him away. How to test this? Ask a mutual friend casually, "Hey, has he ever mentioned me?" Watch his reaction when someone else talks about you in front of him. Does he try to act uninterested, but still listen? Does he get defensive, protective, or suddenly engaged? A man's true feelings are often revealed in the way he speaks about you behind your back. And once you catch on to that, you'll realize he's already showing you exactly how much he cares. But talk is just one part of the equation. Because if a man is secretly into you, he won't just talk about you. He'll try to impress you, even in ways he doesn't realize. The subtle ways he tries to impress you, without making it obvious. Men are wired to want to prove themselves to the women they're attracted to. But here's the mistake most women make. They assume that if a man isn't openly showing off, he's not trying to impress her.
Wrong.
A man who is secretly into you will always try to prove his worth, but in ways that don't look obvious. What to look for? 1. He subtly mentions his achievements in passing conversations. Oh, he won't outright brag, but he'll make sure you know what he's good at. Oh, he'll drop casual hints about his work, talents, or things he excels at. 2. He tries to make you laugh. Oh, if a man keeps cracking jokes or teasing you lightly, it's not random. Oh, humor is a sign of interest, connection, and an attempt to win your attention. 3. He steps up when you need help. Oh, even if you don't ask, he volunteers to help with things you're struggling with. Oh, he'll coincidentally be available whenever you need something done. Why this matters. Men don't try to impress women they don't care about. A man who is secretly into you will find ways to highlight his strengths in front of you, even if he doesn't realize he's doing it. He's subtly positioning himself as someone valuable in your life. How to test this? Mention a challenge you're facing. Does he jump in with a solution? Compliment something he's proud of. Does he light up and engage more? Notice if he accidentally brings up things that make him look better in your eyes. A man who secretly likes you wants you to see him as someone special. And once you spot the ways he tries to impress you, you'll never miss this sign again. But there's something even more powerful, because if he's into you, he won't just try to impress you. He'll also find excuses to touch you without making it obvious. He finds excuses to touch you, even in the smallest ways. Some men aren't bold enough to openly express attraction, but their bodies will always betray them. One of the most undeniable signs that a man is secretly into you is touch. And not just any touch, intentional but subtle. Think about it. Does he casually place his hand on your back when guiding you somewhere? Does he brush against your arm, your knee, or your shoulder, just enough to create a spark? Does he accidentally bump into you, even when there's plenty of space? Why this matters. Physical contact is a man's way of testing attraction. He's trying to create closeness without making it too obvious. Because deep down, he wants to know, do you pull away or do you lean in? Here's where it gets interesting. If you lean in slightly, he'll keep doing it. If you pull away, he'll stop. That's because touch isn't just a sign, it's a test. How to test this? 1. Next time you're talking, playfully touch his arm while laughing. Does he touch you back? 2. Observe how he reacts when someone else touches you. Does he get a little tense or subtly jealous? 3. When walking together, does he ever guide you with his hand on your lower back? A man who doesn't care won't find reasons to touch you. But a man who's secretly into you, his body language will scream it, even when his words stay silent. And if you think that's powerful, wait until you see the way he protects you, even when you don't realize it. The protective instinct, why he feels the need to look out for you. Men are wired to protect what they care about. But here's where most women misunderstand attraction. It's not just about physical protection. It's emotional, social, and even subconscious. How to know he feels protective over you. He subtly shields you in public. Walking near a road, he positions himself between you and the traffic. In a crowd, he moves closer, making sure no one gets too near. He watches your reactions to things. If someone says something that upsets you, he's the first to notice. If you're uncomfortable, he steps in, changes the subject, or defends you. He checks in on you without being obvious. Did you get home safe? Text me when you're back. Are you okay? Why this matters. Men don't protect everyone. A man who secretly likes you will always make sure you're okay, even in the smallest ways. How to test this? Mention feeling a little cold. Does he offer his jacket? Act slightly uncomfortable in a situation. Does he adjust his behavior to make you feel better? Notice if he subtly positions himself closer when there's another guy around. Is he unconsciously blocking other men from getting too close to you? If the answer is yes, you're under his protection. And a man only protects a woman he truly cares about. But here's where it gets even more revealing. Because the moment you pull away, you'll see just how deep his feelings go. How he reacts when you pull away. Does he let you go or pull you closer? Do you want to know how a man truly feels? Pull away just slightly. Because a man who's indifferent won't care. But a man who's secretly into you? He won't let you slip away so easily. How men react when they're secretly into you. 1. He notices the shift immediately. If you suddenly take longer to reply, he gets a little more eager. If you're less available, he starts making more effort. 2. He subtly tries to win back your attention. He suddenly sends a message about something random. He tries to remind you of an inside joke, a past conversation, or a shared moment. 3. He mirrors your behavior. If you pull back slightly, he leans in more. If you seem distant, he tries to close the gap. Why this matters? Attraction is felt in absence. Men realize how much they care when they feel like they might lose you. That's why even the most reserved men will start making small efforts to keep you close. How to test this? Give it a few hours before responding to a message. Does he send another one? Cancel plans once. Does he try to reschedule or find another reason to see you? Stop reaching out first. Does he start initiating more? A man who doesn't care lets you go without a fight. But a man who's secretly into you? He will feel the shift and he won't like it. And that's when you know. But here's something even more powerful. Because if he treats you differently from every other woman in his life, that's when you know you're truly special to him. How he treats you differently from other women. Every man has a default way of interacting with women. But when he's secretly into you, his behavior shifts. Watch closely. Does he tease you in a way he doesn't tease other women? Is he more patient, more attentive, more careful with his words around you? Does he act slightly nervous or extra confident when you're in the room? Why this matters? Men aren't always aware of their behavior, but attraction forces them to break their patterns. A man who is secretly into you won't treat you like just another friend. Even if he tries to act normal, his subconscious will betray him. How to spot it? 1. Does he listen to you differently? If he's truly interested, he won't just hear your words, he'll absorb them. He'll remember tiny details, ask follow-up questions, and make you feel heard. 2. Does he find reasons to be near you more than other women? In group settings, does he position himself closer to you? When he talks, do his eyes search for you first? 3. Does he go out of his way to help you? Oh, a man who is secretly into you won't hesitate to make your life easier, even in small ways. How to test this? Compare how he treats other women versus you. Does he laugh at your jokes more? Does he linger longer in conversations with you? Next time you're around him, pull back slightly. Does he notice and try to re-engage? Bring up something you mentioned a while ago. Does he remember the details, while forgetting similar things other women say? A man who's secretly into you won't even realize he's acting differently. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because sometimes he's so into you that he becomes nervous, and it shows. When he's too nervous to act, but his actions speak anyway. Some men make their feelings loud and clear. Others? They get caught between wanting you and being terrified of making a mistake. And that's when you'll notice the most paradoxical behavior. One moment, he's engaged and playful. The next, he seems distant and avoids eye contact. Signs he's interested but nervous. 1. He starts talking but suddenly stumbles on his words. His brain is moving too fast, trying to impress you. He corrects himself, laughs awkwardly, or over-explains. 2. He fidgets when you're near. Does he adjust his collar, touch his face, or fix his hair around you? These micro-movements are his way of subconsciously trying to look better in front of you. 3. He overthinks his responses. He texts you, then takes forever to reply to a simple message because he doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He acts normal with everyone else, but with you, there's hesitation. Why this matters? Confidence is not the only sign of attraction. Sometimes nervousness is a bigger clue. A man who feels nothing around you will stay relaxed. A man who cares too much will act slightly weird because you matter more than he wants to admit. How to test this? Next time you're near him, say his name softly. Does he get momentarily flustered? Ask him a deep question. Does he hesitate, as if he wants to give the perfect answer? Notice if he changes his behavior when other men are around. Does he suddenly act cooler or more distant? A man who's nervous around you is battling his emotions. And that's why, when you leave, he won't just forget about you. The conclusion: if you miss these signs, you might regret it forever. Now you know the truth. A man doesn't always say how he feels. But his body, his words, his energy, they all leave a trail. And if you miss these signs, if you assume his hesitation means indifference, if you wait for a grand confession instead of recognizing the clues right in front of you, you might walk away from something real without even knowing it. The final signs to remember: he finds reasons to be near you, even when he doesn't have to. His eyes give him away. Watch how he looks at you. He remembers the smallest details, even the ones you forgot. He talks about you to others because you're on his mind. He subtly tries to impress you, even if he's not obvious about it. He finds excuses to touch you, just enough to test the waters. He protects you because deep down, he already feels responsible for you. He reacts when you pull away because he doesn't want to lose you. He treats you differently from other women, whether he realizes it or not. What to do next? Now that you know the signs, pay attention. Because once you start seeing them, you'll never unsee them again. If you've ever noticed any of these signs from a guy, comment below and let me know. And if you're ready to understand men on a whole new level, subscribe to Girlify Mind because your next transformation is coming soon.